Hello everyone, in this video I'll be showing you a build for the Nightbringer class mod in Baldur's Gate 3. This is a mod that was made by Dirt6969 here, and you get the class mod, you get the Nightbringer Armor, the Nightbringer Weapons, and the Nightbringer feats every 2 levels. All of these mods are available on console, and I was requested to cover this build again with all the new items that are available. I won't be using the feats every level, but I will mention some extra feats you can use. And with this, you got the Cantrip's Minor Illusion Guidance and Dark Burst, doing a 1d6 of force damage and propelling enemies 4.5 meters away, inflicting 1 turn of Nightbrand. You gain Umbral Bulwark for every attack that lands. Now, this class kind of revolves around darkness, and then which can buff your character up. And we also get a special ability with the Shadow Forge weapons. These actually turns the weapons into a much more powerful version of themselves. Attack rolls will use your spellcasting ability modifier, and the damage type will become force damage. This is really cool. You also get access to some very great spells with Shield, Sanctuary, Command, Healing Word, and Creator Destroy Water, some of my absolute favorites. And you also get spell slots. You choose 2 skills you're proficient in, and your proficiency bonus is doubled for ability checks that uses either skill. And you also get Superior Dark Vision. Now, the skill proficiencies you can see there. Stealth is a good one to grab. If you're the face of the party, it's hard not to like going with Persuasion as well. I always enjoy having the stealth proficiency there, so you can roll with something like this. And for our ability scores, 16 dexterity, as this one will be wearing light armor, 14 constitution, 10 intelligence and wisdom, and 16 charisma, which is what we're going to be using for our spellcasting and melee attack rolls. I'll cover all the special gear here at the end. We have a very lovely armor class. We'll get into that. Level 2 gives us the Shadow's Whisper. An eerie, unseen force subtly manipulates reality, making you more likely to succeed in any attack. Add half the proficiency bonus rounded down to ability checks you're not proficient in. And then we also get more level 1 spell slots. We get the Shadow Shift, which uses our movement speed. You vanish into a swirling vortex of shadows, reappearing in an occupied space. Your charisma affects how far you can teleport. And we also have the Summon Knight's Eye. Call forth a unique raven, which can mark enemies with the Nightbrand and grant Starkwing's favor. These ravens are very useful. And then we also get the Nightfall, which says slashing, it'll be force. The target must be afflicted by the Nightbrand when you have an ally or within 4 meters or advantage. Killing a creature with this gives you 4 meters of movement speed and 1 turn of dark acceleration. You also can prepare your spells at this level, and I would recommend grabbing the Shield, Sanctuary, Find Familiar, Command, and then the Healing Word, although Longstrider or Creator Destroy Water can be useful as well. At level 3, we get the subclass or class feature, Echo of Oblivion. After killing a creature with Nightfall, you can enhance your next Nightfall attack, deal an additional 2d10 of force damage. Only 1 attack can be enhanced at a time, and the effect does end with combat. The bonus damage increases by 1d6 of force for every odd number character level. We also get the Cage of Darkness, which is extremely useful. So with this, create a sphere of darkness teeming with malevolent energy. This energy area is difficult terrain, and creatures within are blinded and affected with the Nightbrand, which further enhances our attacks. We also get access to some level 6 or level 2 spells here with things like the enhanced ability. Darkness is kind of not that great since we already have a better version of it. Hold Person, however, is great, and Mirror Image is nice too because we can use this without requiring a concentration like Hold Person. Aid is also nice to increase our health by 25 if you got the staff later on with higher level spell slots. Level 4 gives us the Night Piercer, ignoring resistance and immunity to force damage. It's not often that this happens, but it's nice to be able to combat that. We also get access to another spell, and I recommend grabbing Mage Hand. You can throw water bottles or health potions at your team. And then we get a Fighting Style. The defense is always a good choice. Giving a +1 armor class is very useful in a variety of situations, but 2-weapon fighting can also be good too, since we're going to have 2 different weapons, but we also got some different bonus action abilities, so you may want to just go with the defense feat. And then we're going to add in another spell here with Mirror Image, which is really nice for increasing overall armor class. And for our first feat, we're going to take a Charisma increase. It just makes a whole lot of sense. Level 5, Extra Attack, and the Summon Knight's Eye 2, which gives you improved stats, and once per short rest, you can cast Cage of Darkness without using the Summoner's concentration. This is where it gets good, because your Ravens will hold the concentration for you. And you also get the Dark Rift here, which is a cantrip. 1d6 force damage, ignoring resistances. Crack open a rift in the void, pulling enemies towards it. You gain Umbral Bulwark for every target's hit, increasing your overall armor class. And then we get access to level 3 spells with a lot of good ones. Counterspell, obviously being a very effective way to protect your team. Haste, never a bad choice, but I prefer having a sorcerer casted. Mass Healing Word, not bad. And Plant Growth for concentration-free crowd control. So, a lot of great options there. Into level 6, we get to take 2 more skills, Expertise. So I guess Perception and Intimidation there. Then we get the Shadow Blood Inheritance, inherent the legacy of a legendary Nightbringer. Now, each of these comes with a lot of different abilities. So Maltrick, the Crown Hex Slinger, gives you the Mortal Reminder, Misty Escape, Tormenting Coil, Crown of Cruelty, and Void Coil Leash. And Void Coil Leash does 5 Eldritch Tendrils each, afflicting 1 Nightbrand, and then pulling enemies towards you. Blackfinger's Morvis, which gives you the Assassin Ambush, Assassin's Alacrity, and the Shadow itself, which is the Assassin ability, so you get your bonus action and action back when you start combat with fight, and you get the Finger of Shattering. So unleash a corruptive energy through your touch, shattering the target's life force. When out of combat, teleport to an enemy, dealing force damage equal to half of its maximum health points. This attack cannot miss and counts if you use Nightfall. Yeah, that's nuts. Kaelin, the Warden of Eternal Night. So this gives you the Eternal Night's Aegis, Vow of the Eternal Night, Eternal Guardians, and the Dark Challenge here. Dark Challenge is basically the compelled duel. And then Eternal Guardians is like Spirit Guardians, which does force and radiant damage, which is pretty cool. There's also the Starblades, Saint Selvaris, Miracle Hands, Blade of the First Foundation, and Starblade Communion. Blade of the First Foundation, which will give you basically a free short rest. And Starblade Communion, bonus action, you take 1d4 radiant damage each turn, and whenever you attack with Nightfall, deal additional 4 radiant damage, which is based off the Charisma modifier, and can cast Starlight Benediction, kind of like the Star Druid. There's also Inquisitor Orin Velgrave. You get Relentless Pursuit, Action Surge, and Judgment. I don't have to talk about Action Surge and why that's so good. And then Eldros Khan, the first of the favored. You get 12 sorcery points, Twin Spell, Distance Spell, Quicken Spell, and Augmented Nightfall. That's really good. My two favorites from playing around with this has been, I like the, I love the Spirit Guardians, the Eternal Guardians. It's really fun and different of a spell or cantrip to use. And then sorcery points, I love the Sorcerer. It's hard to go wrong with Quicken Spell and an Augmented Nightfall. So honestly, pick the one that sounds interesting to you. You can always respec at any time. It's really cool options. Even the other ones have some fun abilities here. So yeah, Eternal Guardians or the bonus ability to cast spells. I'm going to go with this one here to showcase that awesome Eternal Guardians. Yeah, there's a lot of great stuff. For the spell, I guess we'll grab Fear, and then we'll go with Ability Score Improvement to boost our Charisma up to 20. So yeah, there's a lot in this class mod. Level 7, Enigmatic Flow. Once per short rest, killing a creature with Nightfall, you may cast an illusion or enchantment spell with expending an action until combat ends. This is the Band of the Mystic Scoundrel built into the class. Huge. You also get the Devouring Night. A dark maelstrom engulfs the target and caster, pulling them through a fabric of space and reality to an unoccupied location. The target is inflicted with Nightbrand for 2 turns until you kill a creature. When you roll force damage, you deal the maximum damage. That is crazy. Max damage is always fun to see, and it just makes it a lot easier to get that. We also get access to level 4 spells. Great Invisibility, you can use this as a bonus action. You can cast Confusion as a bonus action due to that ability that we just got, so yeah, we may as well add those in because Greater Invisibility as bonus action is really nice if you need to get away from a fight. Level 8, Dark Amplification. Your control over darkness is deepened. Cage of Darkness can now target 2 areas, so yeah, you get a lot of darkness in a lot of areas, and that becomes crazy. Polymorph, meh. Dominate Beast, meh. Banishment, okay. Yeah, it's honestly better to probably go back and take Sleet Storm or Haste at this point. And for the feat, we get one at level 8 here. An ability score improvement on Dexterity for better survivability can be nice. Alert for the +5 to Initiative is never a bad choice. Even going with the, if you go with, since we're going to be dual wielding, the dual wielder will give us a +1 armor class, which is nice, but it doesn't really benefit us as much as Dexterity, which will give us the 1 to armor class and 1 to Initiative. Level 9 gives us level 5 spells. We also get another Shadow Blood Inheritance, and we get to choose another fighting style. So 2 weapon fighting, because we got 2 weapons and we're fighting. And then for this, I would recommend the Elros Khan first. The favorite is really nice. You can also go with any of the other ones here that you prefer, but just getting those extra abilities is great. Now, level 5 spells gives us Hold Monster and Dominate Person, which is another enchantment spell we can do as a bonus action. Telekinesis is okay, and Planar Binding we actually can't use as a bonus action for free unless you use the sorcery points there. Level 10 gives us Summons Night I3, gains improved stats, and once per short rest, you can summon Shadow Image. And we also get the Midnight Hunt. When inside the Cage of Darkness, enemies within 4 meters become vulnerable to force damage. And this can last until combat ends, or you kill a creature. And we deal pure force damage, so that's obviously doubling our total damage. I guess we'll leave the Telekinesis there. Sometimes it can lead to some funny results. And then level 11, obviously very strong, improved extra attack, and then the Reliable Talent. And then we get some great options for spells here with Globe of Invulnerability and Hero's Feast and Eye Bite and Flesh to Stone. Eye Bite, you can continually keep casting it, which is kind of nice, but Hero's Feast and Globe of Invulnerability just bring a lot more bang for their buck. But we can still, on the next level, grab this too. Level 12 gives us another choice here. So yeah, you can grab a third one of the inheritances. Malric the Crowned Hexslinger can be good. And even going with the Inquisitor Orin Velgrave can be nice too. As I mentioned, you can swap these around if you want to try different ones. This one's nice because you get the Relentless Pursuit from the Paladin. And Action Surge is never a bad thing to have. We also get to choose another spell here, and I'd recommend Eye Bite. Flesh of Stone, as fun as it is, it kind of sucks. And for the final feat, an alert feat for the +5 initiative is good. You can also go with the, I guess, Sentinel or any of those feats are nice as well. Lucky, 3 luck points, never a bad choice. Tough can be good too. Or even just a dexterity improvement, because this will give us increased armor class and initiative. So alert or ability score improvement, your choice there. And then if you were taking extra feats, you can go again with dual wielder for the +1 armor class. The savage attacker rerolls your damage die for further increasing your damage. This actually may be a little bit better, just depending on how you want to roll with it. Now this class does let you go past level 12 here, but it only really gives you some of the extra choices for Shadowblood Inheritance. I will show this, but it's not necessary for the purposes of this video, so it's your personal preference. Level 12 is more than enough. This just gives you access to higher spell slots and gives you even more spells, which you probably don't need because you already get most of the good ones here. And then at this point, you can go with the increase your dexterity, the alert feat, or you name it. Yeah, you can just continually keep picking these abilities here, and they're quite nice to have all that extra choice. So yeah, I just want to showcase this all to kind of give you the maximum value of a character, but you really don't have to take this up to level 20 whatsoever. It just gives you, again, all the Shadowblood inheritances. You can take 25 different spells, and then you get an extra feat here, which we can use for like the, even defensive duelist can be kind of nice, but we're going to go with dual wielder there, or alert for the +5 initiative, although we're likely going to go first. Yeah, we do have a pretty terrible armor class, but that's due to the Dream Vein gloves here. When your armor class is reduced by 10, and when an ally is attacking, use your reaction to use the touch of the first dream. So yeah, you can go against them, dealing a little extra damage. If you don't want to, you can always take these off and add in something like the Helldust gloves for additional fire damage in your attacks. This brings our armor class back up, and that can be worth it if you don't want to have that negative effect applied to your attacks. But what's also kind of cool is since we have this Spirit Guardians, we can also apply the Luminous gloves that do Radiating Orbs. Radiating Orbs are not on theme with this build because it's darkness themed, but it can be an option since we do have radiant damage. If you want to go further within this, the Gloves of the Bigger in Sky is great too, because this can stack reverberation, knocking targets prone in your darkness. This gives you the Beacon in the Nightmare, which is a different ability here that allies within 24 meters can't be blinded, gain dark vision, and while they're inside the realm of Nightmare, they ignore its effects. So yeah, with this, you can basically take this glove here and give your entire team the ability to see in darkness, which is massive since this is a big component of this build. Dream Veil Leathers. When you open your heart like a wound to receive the echo of a will far beyond this world. Become vulnerable to all damage types. Yay. But it gives you the transformation nightmare creature here. So yeah. To get this transformation, this is one of the things I was asked about. You need a deep connection. And funny enough, you can only get that by equipping the gloves. Because that reaction, touch of the first dream, will set up the deep connection, which sets this up. So you get -10 armor class, vulnerability to all damage. Yes, it's kind of weak. I should have probably taken the tough feat as well, but hey, that's fine. Each wound is an offering. You take additional 2 force damage at all times, but if you go down to 0 health points, you regain 20 and becoming down, and summon a Nightmare Realm for 2 turns. Kind of cool. And then the Dream Veil Diadem. You gain an additional reaction per turn, and inside the Nightmare Realm, you can use actions and bonus actions interchangeably, which is huge, even though we already can cast bonus action spells pretty effectively. And then the weapon mod, I'd highly recommend, if you're not going to use the armor mod, to at least use the weapon mod, because these are very powerful. So they get additional force damage on them. On the offhand, you get a special ability. Depending, you should make sure that they're equipped in the right hand. The main hand has Cage of Darkness here, which gives you this ability. Then there's also the Nightfall offhand, which is a special attack. So yeah, they increase your critical hit chance, and when you're in your Nightmare Realm, it further increases your critical hit chance. Same thing with the Whispering Echo and Whispering Scar, which each give their own unique abilities here too. For rings, I would recommend the Crypt Lord ring for the Create Undead, or Killer Sweetheart for free crit and Ring of Protection to bring our armor class up to a mighty 7. And then the Amulet of Greater Health, so we don't get killed in 2 hits. So yeah, I'll show off what this looks like in combat. Make sure that you use your Shadowforge weapon too, because this is going to further buff up the weapons and apply this cool appearance to them. Yeah, those look awesome. And don't forget to summon in your Raven as well, because yeah, it does have the buffed up version, and it's going to create darkness around it. And then with the Raven itself, it does have some extra abilities. Summon Shadow Image, create 2 ethereal copies of yourself. They're dismissed after 1 turn. It can use Final Umbral Eruption, Shadow Shift, so they can teleport. They can create that Cage of Darkness for you instead. They can also help as a bonus action, so that means that they can cast and also do that in attack. They get their Beak Attack too, and also the Shadow Feather Curse, which can apply 3 targets with the Night Brand, setting up your damage even further. And they also got a bonus action dash, so yeah, there's a lot. And you also get Hero's Feast, so you may as well make the box of pizza for the squad. And let's see, did we get the pizza? We got the pizza, woohoo! So if you apply a mirror image and haste, this can actually boost up your armor class quite a bit to actually make it so that you don't get hit one shot, at least at the start of combat. And on our first turn of combat, a Raven actually got really lucky with its with its ability there to go first. Now we want to apply the Cage of Darkness whenever possible, so fly this big honking Raven into a good location where you can get itself hidden within that. We apply the Cage of Darkness there. Everyone is now getting darkness applied to them. And then we got bonus action ability, so if we need to fly back out or shadow shift, we can get the Raven out of the dangerous positions, but I like to have it nearby. And then for us, we got so many options. Whenever we can, we want to be applying our special attack here with the Nightfall, which is a big component of this build. So yeah, I'd recommend using this often as it does that extra force damage. The targets must be affected by the Night brand whenever you have an ally within 4 meters or against it. So that's where we can set that up to deal a little extra damage, and they're all Night branded here within that darkness. If not, you would normally use the Shadow Feather Curse to apply it to 3 targets with the Night brand. But as mentioned, Night brand is really strong, so we want to use that as much as possible. So yeah, we're going to just show off this attack here first, get an advantage. We have a long attack range, so we can go ahead with the yeet, and then we turn invisible. So yeah, we got a lot of abilities here stacking up. So like our Void Coil Leash will now shoot an additional projectile. We got the Executioner, Swift spells, so we can do the enchantment or bonus spells. We get invisibility, Echo of Oblivion. Your next Nightfall attack increases in its damage. 4 meters bonus to movement speed. We got Dreamveil Confluence, so once per battle, if we go down, we get extra health. We can cast Nightbringer cantrips as a bonus action. We get 2 of them. We got all this stacks of that, haste and all that. Nuts. And then the Beacon of the Nightmare. Allies within 24 meters can't be blinded. So we're invisible now. That gives us a nice ability. I also like to go with the Eternal Guardians here, so I probably should have cast that prior to getting into combat. And that was enough to take out another target. It's Spirit Guardians, but purple. I love it. It looks cool too. So yeah, we're going to go ahead here with a normal old Nightfall attack. So you typically want to use this as much as possible because it's strong. I use a critical hit on critical, 80 damage, nuts. Yeah, use Nightfall as much as you can if the targets are there. You do have a really boosted up critical hit chance, so that can be really nice as well. But yeah, these extra attacks go hard. Now, we do have 2 bonus actions which we can use for a variety of different things. I use my concentration on our pseudo Spirit Guardians, which would have been nice to use some of the other spells, but we also got Command, we got Hypnotic Pattern, we got Dominate Person, which requires concentration, same as Confusion there. We can also do some of our other spells, and we also got Action Surge, which is always a nice thing to have. So that lets us go ahead with another Nightfall here against the target, further stacking up our damage. So boom, 88 damage. Yeah, it's quite powerful. That's why you reduce your overall armor class. And yeah, we also have the Nightfall offhand attack too. So you can literally just shred through people with this. It's crazy. And then on top of that, our bonus action ability, we can use the Command Approach here. And what we can do is we can always upcast this, especially if there's multiple targets. We only need to upcast it to level 3 here, so we can then apply. Oh, we need to move a little closer. But Command obviously being a really effective spell because you can then make just everyone come towards you here. You don't have to think about it. Not a high chance, 45, 80, and 85%. It's probably going to, yeah, knew they were going to save on it. We only got 1 of them. But that lets you then use some of your other abilities here. You got the Cage of Darkness from one of our items too. We also have the Nightmare Creature Transformation. So that can be good. This is a free action, so I'm going to first use one of our other spells like the Void Coil Leash here, which we can hit targets multiple times with. So Path Interrupted will then go after this target here with the multiple attacks. So boom, hit them with, yeah, a lot of attacks pulling them into. And then we'll use our Nightmare Creature Transformation here and turn ourselves into this freaky abomination of Mercule with our Spirit Guardians making it look much worse than it really is. And then whenever you're in this form, you have our different weapon attacks that we can do in the Wail of the Underworld, unleashing a soul-rending sound that instills fear in nearby enemies and makes marks with the Night brand. So you can also use this to do a screeching attack to further apply your extra damage off on enemies and make them fearful. And since it's darkness, the enemies are just going to try and run towards it, and they can't attack through it. So darkness is quite overpowered in Baldur's Gate 3. We don't need our transformation for our second turn here, so I'm just going to actually just skip my turn, even though we have all these actions to use. I want to show off some of the other abilities here. So he's trying to attack my bird, and I got the Obsidian Mirror here, which gives you the touch of the first stream. So we're going to apply that there. He's also going to hit Shadow Hearts. We'll use our reactions there. And then we got pushed towards him, unfortunately, with that ability, which gives us the Mind Broken, unfortunately. And then I got hit with Command Grovel. This is a terrible turn. Our bird also lost its darkness, which is fine. But I want to apply this special ability to show it off. So not able to get the Nightmare Creature Deep Connection off. We just have to wait for another attack there. I'm not going to take out this target, even though it has counter spell, or it has the command spell. We also got Misty Escape. Whenever we get hit with an attack, we can turn invisible, basically, as a reaction. All right, let's try this again. This may not work out properly, so we're going to use this. Hope we don't get hit with the Mind Broke. So, boom, Deep Connection. I got hit with the Mind Break, unfortunately. But what it does is it transforms our team member into that Nightmare Demon that we each get turned into, and unfortunately, I keep stunning my team. All right, let's try this one more time. This is not in a difficult area, so boom, we applied the fear on them, and that gave them the makes them run away. And then we get to now use our Deep Connection to transform someone into a nightmare creature. So Shadowheart, boom, transform. Now they are the shadow creature. Pretty nifty. So then they get these special abilities like Nightmare Storm here. So unleash 3 ripples of dark energy, knocking targets prone, gain dark acceleration, echo obliteration. You can daze targets, making them, or daze targets will become paralyzed. And then you can also apply that Night Brand on multiple targets. So that's not a bad thing to start off with, making them fearful. Boom, apply that. And then you can go ahead with your main attack here with that Nightmare Storm. So boom, creates a big explosion and did some damage to targets. It missed some too, but it creates the Echo of Oblivion there. It's pretty cool. Now the thing is, my character is going down in health really fast. So that's another thing you got to watch out for. You can also make additional ravens here, which create more darkness in that pocket, which is nice. But you can see I'm almost dead because we are vulnerable to all damage, so a simple arrow can take you out. This takes the class from being overpowered to much less overpowered, but still quite strong. Now, we always have our very powerful abilities here, so I even like the Nightfall range here, so you can attack a target with that. If they have the Nightfall on them, you can use your Raven here to apply that with the Shadow Feather Curse too. So boom, you can shoot at them and apply the Nightfall Curse onto them. 6 stacks of Night Brand. And then we can go ahead with our Nightfall range. So this will give us a little bit extra damage against the target. You must have advantage of the target, unfortunately. This is where telekinesis would come in handy, or a command spell, because we can then command them to come towards us. But we also got that Void Coil Leash too, which is a really powerful ability that you've seen there. We had even further shots of it. It's funny because it pulls the enemy in towards us. I think that it looks pretty funny myself. And then we didn't do a melee attack, so we don't get the option for the... We don't get to do our command spell, but we get offhand attacks too. So the offhand Nightfall is very powerful, as you see there, 48 damage. So yeah, that was even before applying all the vulnerabilities to the enemy. This is a really fun class mod. It's high risk, high reward using the armor because you got those cool abilities, but you also give yourself vulnerability and a -10 armor class. 7 AC, that's terrible. That's why they always kept targeting me, and I'm down to 48 health even after using Shadowheart to heal my character a couple of times. So let me know your thoughts. If you got questions, feel free to leave them below. Hope you have a great day. And again, check out all these mods by Dirt6969. They're incredible. And we'll catch y'all in the next video.